Welcome to Cloud Manager for Exclaim Product Overview Training. With Cloud Manager for Exclaim, registering, configuring, and managing your Exclaim access points for your business has never been easier, and best of all, it's free. In this training session, we'll introduce Cloud Manager for Exclaim and describe how it will help a customer, identify the 5 steps for setting up and configuring an Exclaim access point with Cloud Manager, describe Cloud Manager's features for monitoring, reporting, and setting up notifications, describe how existing Harmony Exclaim users can migrate from Harmony to Cloud Manager for Exclaim, describe how to troubleshoot the Exclaim access points remotely using Cloud Manager, and identify upcoming features for Cloud Manager for Exclaim that will make managing your Exclaim access points even more exciting, and identify some of the common FAQs to familiarize you with some of the issues our customers face. As a note, we have a separate training showing a demonstration of using Cloud Manager for Exclaim to register, configure, monitor, and troubleshoot Exclaim access points. Cloud Manager for Exclaim is a simple yet powerful cloud management solution for your Exclaim access points. It is a remote management solution versus a local management solution like the Harmony app or our Web GUI solution. It permits unlimited AP scalability. With Harmony, you had a recommended limitation of 10 APs, but with Cloud Manager, you can manage as many APs as you like. It allows multi-site management. For example, if you had a coffee shop chain of 50 stores across the state and each shop had 2 APs, you can now manage all 50 stores remotely from Cloud Manager. It provides a history of network statistics. Cloud Manager is constantly collecting access point network statistics, and it stores them for up to 7 days. You can view or save these reports at any time. This will help you to analyze and understand the dynamics and potential bottlenecks of your Wi-Fi network. It provides accessibility from anywhere with any type of client device over Wi-Fi or cellular. All you need is an internet connection to access Cloud Manager. All access point configurations will reside in a central database in the cloud, which adds a layer of resiliency to your network. So for example, if an AP goes down, once it comes back up, it can automatically download its configuration from the cloud. As a note, Cloud Manager for Exclaim is not a full, robust enterprise AP cloud controller, but rather a simple, lightweight core management mechanism upon which additional controller and related applications can be built. The next 3 slides summarize 3 Exclaim configuration options: Harmony, Web GUI, and Cloud Manager. Configuration option 1 is configuration via the Harmony app. This is a great tool for a small local business solution, but some downsides of this method is that the access point management can only be done locally in the same Layer 2 network. If someone wants to manage multiple sites remotely, they would physically have to move from site to site to do the management. It is recommended to manage not more than 10 access points per instance of Harmony, which could be a limitation if your business had a lot more access points installed. Configuration option 2 is to configure your Exclaim access points with the Web GUI. When using this method, you can manage access points remotely, but you would need to log into each AP individually to manage it. This method is recommended for customers with 10 or less access points in their network. Cloud Manager for Exclaim takes care of both of these limitations. After logging into your Cloud Manager account, you can communicate with all APs from one remote location through any internet location. It gives you unlimited scalability, allows you to configure and monitor multiple sites, keeps and stores a data history from any client that is attached to the internet using a Wi-Fi or cellular internet connection, and can download reporting based on your needs. This slide summarizes the common features across the different platforms and shows the unique features that Cloud Manager offers. The common features are secure management and configuration of APs, configuration of wireless LANs, monitoring and managing an entire site from a single interface. The unique features that Cloud Manager offers is the ability to centralize the management of all sites, manage multiple sites, allow unlimited AP scalability, resiliency, management by any device, customized reporting capabilities, power dashboard and analytics, and network statistics history. Here we list the steps for configuring an Exclaim access point using Cloud Manager. The first step is to create an account and log into Cloud Manager. You can do this by going to www.exclaimwireless.com. The next step is to register the Exclaim access point. Each Exclaim AP has a unique serial number. You can find this number printed on the back of the access point. This is the number that will be used to register the AP. So for example, if you are registering and configuring an Exclaim AP from your office in Sunnyvale, California, and the access point is installed in a coffee shop in Southern California, you need to know its serial number. The next step is to configure your wireless LAN network by setting up the names of your SSIDs. Next, you would configure your access points in your Cloud Manager account. For example, turning on and off specific radios, selection of 2.4 and 5 GHz channels, and so forth. These first 4 steps can all be performed before the access point is online. This means that you could provision multiple APs before they are booted up. The fifth and final step is connecting and claiming the access point. When the access point is powered up, it will download its configuration that is stored on the Cloud Manager database. Next, we'll cover each of these steps in a little more detail. Step 1 is user registration. From the web browser, you access the Cloud Manager URL by going to www.exclaimwireless.com website and selecting the Cloud Sign-In tab. Click on Create an Account and then fill in the menu with your first and last name, your email address, company name, username, password, and country. The key fields to remember are your email address, username, and password. These will be used when you log in. You can log in with either your email address or your username. The country code is a regulatory domain and will be pushed to the access point when the configuration is downloaded to the AP. When finished, click on the Register button at the bottom of the menu. Once the user is registered, they are prompted to log in by using either their username or the registered email address and their password. The next step is to register your access points. This is where you will enter the serial number of the access points. If you are a first-time user and have just created an account, once you log in for the first time, the user is taken directly to the Register Access Point page. Use the serial number of the AP that is found on the sticker behind the AP. Give the AP a name and select the model number from the drop-down menu, such as XI-1 or XI-2. You have an option to add an access point tag. This is customized text usually used to identify the AP. Let's say, for example, you have multiple APs in different cities in a state. You could create a tag such as San Francisco for all APs in the city of San Francisco, and another tag for Sacramento for any APs located in Sacramento. This helps later when you are running a report. It allows you to sort the access points by this tag. Once you're done registering the access points, you click on Done. This will store the serial number of the access point and the other configuration information into the Cloud Manager database associated with your username. Step 3 is to create your network. To do this, you have the option of going to the Network tab. You'll configure your SSID name, a network tag which can be used for multiple networks, and all your security settings such as your passphrase, which radio or radios you want to use, VLANs, or whether to enable client isolation. There is no limit on the number of networks that you can create. The fourth step is to configure the access point. If the AP is already connected, it will not show any APs to configure on the screen on the right. Once the access points are added, if you want to change the configuration, you would click on the AP tab at the top and click the AP you want to configure, and a pop-up window will appear on the right. Here, you can click on Edit AP on the right side pop-up window, and it will bring up the following menu. The AP configuration page looks similar to this, where the AP parameters can be set, such as the AP names, tags, turning on or off a 2.4 or 5 GHz radio, and channel width. There is a field at the bottom that says Add Networks. This is used to add the name of the network SSID you created earlier to associate it with the AP. Then click Save, which stores it into the database. This confirmation will get pushed to the access point once it boots up and connects to the Internet. The final step is to connect and claim your access point. The first step is to power up your access point and make sure the AP can fetch an IP address via a DHCP server. If the AP has a static IP address, it will need to be changed as the Cloud Manager does not support static IP addresses. Make sure the AP is connected to the Internet. Until the AP is claimed, as long as the AP has Internet connectivity, you should see a blinking green LED. If you haven't registered your AP, it will be blinking green. Once it's claimed, it will go to a constant green. The ladder diagram on the right summarizes what's occurring between the access point and the Cloud Manager. Let's say that you have a Cloud Manager account, but you haven't registered an access point yet. Periodically, the AP will check with the Cloud Manager to see if it's claimed. When it says yes, the AP knows it has been registered, so it needs to do two things. First, it needs to download its AP configuration, which will include the list of networks that the AP has to apply. Let's say it was configured with 2 SSIDs. In this step, the AP would download just the names of the 2 networks to know which wireless LAN network configuration it needs to fetch in the next step. The next step is for the AP to fetch the wireless LAN configuration. Once it gets this, the LED will change to a constant green and it will start to service clients. Now we're done with the 5 steps and your access point is claimed and up and running. You can monitor the status of your APs and networks by using the dashboard, which gives a live single-page view of the entire network. In this example, there are a total of 10 APs with 8 online and 2 offline. The online access point health says whether the AP is good or needs auditing. Auditing means that there are some issues with the access point that need to be resolved. The dashboard also lists the top 10 APs by activity, the number of clients on the different wireless LANs, and clients by OS and signal strength. If you go to the Access Points tab and click on the access point, you will get a pop-up on the right side which will display details specific to that access point. It will show the clients by network and clients by OS type. These are just 2 of the numerous monitoring options available through the Cloud Manager. This is a list of some of the auxiliary functions of the Cloud Manager reporting functions. It gives you the ability to generate custom reports on demand. Cloud Manager has the ability to store 7 days of data. Once you have the data, you can generate multiple types of reports. To do this, you would click on the Reports tab and select the report type and put in the starting and ending dates and click on Generating Report. Once you have the report, you can download it or email it. In the future, we'll have the ability to schedule reports and have them sent automatically to your email ID. We also have the ability to do notifications. These are proactive measures of telling the customer that a change has occurred or some issue has occurred. One type is when the configuration is changed or a service outage has occurred. The notifications can be sent via a prompt to the user via the Cloud Manager website, email, or SMS message. Before we talk about how you can migrate your Exclaim access points, which are currently being managed by Harmony, over to Cloud Manager, let's spend a few minutes talking about AP modes. This is a new concept which is introduced with the addition of Cloud Manager to our management portfolio. These states represent the 3 possible states that the AP can be in at any point in time. Let's start with local mode. This is what Harmony for Exclaim users are already familiar with. When the AP is in this mode, as the name suggests, the AP has to be managed locally. By that, we mean that the AP needs to be either managed by Harmony for Exclaim or via the AP's web GUI. One thing to note is that if your AP is in this mode, it cannot be managed by Cloud Manager. Now let's talk about the Cloud mode. This is a new mode by which the AP can only be managed by Cloud Manager. When the AP is in this mode, it cannot be discovered or managed via Harmony or the AP's web GUI. Once you register and claim your access points via Cloud Manager, the AP will transition into this mode. The third mode is the None mode. This mode can be thought of as an intermediate mode between the local mode and the Cloud mode. This is useful when moving from local to Cloud mode or vice versa. An AP in the None mode is open to being managed by either Harmony, which is local, or Cloud Manager via the cloud. Depending on which management method claims the AP first, the AP will either transition into local mode or Cloud mode. Brand new APs right out of the box with the latest firmware will be in this mode. It can be identified by the AP's LED either blinking red or blinking green. To move the AP back from local mode to None mode, the user needs to perform a factory reset to the AP. To move the AP back from Cloud mode to None mode, the user needs to delete the AP from his or her Cloud Manager account. If I'm an existing customer who has configured my AP using Harmony, how do I move these to Cloud Manager? From the AP software perspective, you don't need to do anything. Once every 24 hours, the access point will check for an update and download it. The firmware we have in the access points today is cloud ready. It works with Harmony, but it also has the intelligence required to talk to Cloud Manager, if desired. So the user doesn't have to do anything from the AP's point of view. The AP just requires a software upgrade to get the cloud-ready firmware. An AP's configuration is lost during a mode change. If you want the AP to talk to Cloud Manager, it needs to go to the None mode. This means the AP is neither in the local or Cloud Manager mode, and it can be claimed by either Cloud Manager or Harmony. If you have a brand new AP from the box, once it downloads the cloud's latest firmware, it's going to be in the None mode when it boots up until it's claimed either by Harmony or Cloud Manager. It will be broadcasting the Exclaim Setup SSID at this point. Once it's claimed by Harmony, it will stay in the local mode, or if it's claimed by Cloud Manager, it will stay in that state. The question is, what if I want to change it from local mode to Cloud Manager mode? Let's look at how it changes. If it's in the local mode and being managed by Harmony and you want to move it to the cloud mode, make sure the AP is running the latest released firmware version.
Now that the AP has the latest firmware version, if you want to switch modes, you need to perform a factory reset and allow it to connect to the internet. Once it does a factory reset, it is now in the None mode and is broadcasting the default Exclaim-Setup SSID. You would create a user account on Cloud Manager for Exclaim, register the AP, create a configuration, and claim the AP via Cloud Manager. Now the AP will transition to cloud mode. The other option is moving from the cloud mode to the local mode. Let's say that the user wants to go back to using Harmony management instead of managing from the cloud. The first thing you would do from the Cloud Manager is deregister or delete the AP from the Cloud Manager database. The AP will then automatically perform a factory reset and bring itself back up in the None mode. Then you will use Harmony to find and configure the access point, which will put the AP in local mode. It's important to remember that the AP configuration will be lost during a mode change, and an AP in cloud mode is not discoverable via Harmony. Here we see some troubleshooting methods. If the access point is in a local mode, meaning it is being managed by Harmony, the LED modes are unchanged. If the AP is in the None mode or cloud mode, we have 4 LED status modes instead of 2. If the LED is a constant red, it means the AP does not have an IP address. Make sure you have a DHCP server available to give it an IP address. If the LED is flashing red, it means the AP is unable to reach the Cloud Manager. Make sure you have an internet connection. If you see a flashing green LED, it means that the access point is able to reach Cloud Manager, but it has not been claimed or configured yet. And finally, if the LED is a constant green, it means that the access point has been claimed or configured by Cloud Manager, which is the normal state. Another method of troubleshooting is by using the Access Point Health widget on the Cloud Manager dashboard. The access points in the network are categorized into 2 categories, healthy or needs audit. A widget runs a proprietary algorithm on the access point, including factors such as CPU utilization, memory utilization, RF utilization, and so forth to determine the overall health of the access point. It will register as either good or needs audit. So for example, if you have 10 APs and they are all registered as good, you would have a metric of 10 healthy APs and 0 APs that need audit. You can also receive notifications from Cloud Manager, such as service outage notifications. And finally, there is the Exclaim support forum. The next few slides will cover 5 of the upcoming features for Cloud Manager. The first is simple Wi-Fi mesh that will be able to do a single hot mesh that will be available only on the 5 GHz radios. This diagram shows how the traffic will flow once mesh is enabled. The first, or root AP, has its LAN port connected to the network via a hard wire and is wirelessly connecting to another AP by using mesh, which in turn has clients attached to it. In the future, the Exclaim APs in Cloud Manager will support 802.1x authentication. At the time of this recording, our APs only support passphrase authentication. This means that when you're trying to connect to a wireless LAN against a RAIDIS server, the AP will block the client and tell it to authenticate. The client then sends 802.1x traffic to the server, and only when the client gets authenticated is the data allowed to pass through. Captive Portal Redirect is another future enhancement. The way that this works is when there is a web request by a client attached to an access point. The access point blocks the request and redirects it to the captive portal, where the client will need to log in with their credentials. Once they have logged into the captive portal, the AP will then allow the client to access the web. Social login will be permitted in the future. With this feature, when the client makes a web request, the AP redirects the request to the social login partner, such as Facebook, where the client then logs in with their social credentials, and the AP then grants access to the Internet. Secure guest access is something that many of our customers have been requesting. Currently, we have a feature called Client Isolation, which means 2 wireless LAN devices connected to the same wireless LAN are not able to talk to one another. But let's say that you have a printer on your wired network and you only want your corporate clients to have access to it and not the guest client. Secure guest access will permit this. It will only allow guest traffic and exit to the Internet via the default gateway, while the business SSID traffic can access both the internal and external resources. Now we'll cover some of the frequently asked questions. Is Cloud Manager for Exclaim free? The answer is yes. It's free with no subscription costs. Will the AP's performance depend upon the AP mode, such as local, none, or Cloud Manager? The answer is no. Performance is the same regardless of mode. In the Cloud Manager mode, how many SSIDs or wireless LANs can I add per AP? The number is the same as the local mode, 4 per radio. That means that with a 2 radio AP, such as the XI-2 or XI-3, You can have up to 8 wireless LANs or SSIDs. Can I still manage my AP via Harmony or the AP's web GUI? You'll be able to do this, but you'll have to put the AP back into the local mode, which means it will not be managed by Cloud Manager. It's an either-or situation. You can manage in Harmony but not with Cloud, or you can manage with the Cloud Manager and not with Harmony. You have to switch the access points modes back and forth. Many clients have firewalls between their business wireless LANs and the public wireless LAN. What do I need to do to have communication occur between the two wireless LANs? To do this, port 443 needs to be opened. Will the Exclaim access points support multicast? Yes, the Exclaim APs will support both multicast and broadcast traffic. Can an upgrade be triggered for all APs managed by Cloud Manager? Yes, Cloud Manager can schedule updates for a specific time at which time the upgrade is triggered for all the APs. Can an AP be claimed using its MAC address because its MAC address is also a unique identifier? No, we only need the AP serial number. What happens when my AP loses connectivity with the cloud? Let's say I have 5 APs and they lose internet connectivity with the cloud. If that happens, the LEDs will be blinking red, but nothing happens. User traffic is not affected and the wireless LANs are still available. Once the internet connectivity is restored, all non-sync configuration changes that might have been configured in the cloud are synced with the AP the moment connectivity is restored. Thanks for taking the time to view this training. If you have any questions, please visit the Exclaim forum on the Exclaim website.